Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is October 16th. Lots of high-scoring games from this past week. 30 from the Ravens, 32 from the Steelers, 34 from the Packers, 35 from the Bears, 38 from the Falcons, 41 from the Texans, 47 from the Lions, and 51 from the Bucks. Who says scoring is down across the league? The NFC North is by far the best division in football right now. The top 4 teams in point differential this season are all from the NFC North. I'd love to see all 4 of those teams make the playoffs. That would be absolutely insane. Unfortunately, one of them took a hit. Their Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner, in my opinion, done for the year. And I have had 2 big wide receiver trades happen as I've started recording this. So lots to talk about NFL-wise, lots to recap from this past weekend. And as always, going to give you a little bit of college football highlights just to, keep you informed about what's happening, because it is a football show, not just an NFL show. So, No, it was a crazy week. A lot of outright favorites won. I think this was Vegas's one of their worst weekends, according to them, betting-wise, in a long time. But I guess let's just get right into it with the college football highlights. Army and Navy both ranked for the first time since 1960. Absolutely insane. Would love to see one of these teams make it into the college football playoffs. We'll see. Still a decent time left in the season. Texas destroys Oklahoma 34-3. Wasn't even close. Texas at the end of it plants the flag in the middle of the field into a Baker Mayfield jersey. Baker Mayfield, even, 6 years later, still rent-free in their heads. Utah QB Cam Rising is hurt, but now he's eligible for an 8th year potentially. Sure. Get a job, Cam Rising. Potential tight end 1 in this draft, Tyler Warren, 17 catches for 224 yards and a touchdown. Also had a crazy play on that touchdown where he was the one snapping it, and he still ran for the ball. I don't even know how it works and how he was eligible and whatever, but crazy play. Speaking of crazy plays, Oregon coach Dan Lanning intentionally put 12 men on the field late in the game against Ohio State. Didn't give up a big play, chewed more clock off, and then, Oregon beats number 2 Ohio State 32-31. Will Howard, for some reason, slid with no time left on the clock. Bit of a weird one there. I finally found a running back stack that Heisman frontrunner Ashton Jeanty doesn't lead in. He has 48 missed tackles on the season. Arizona State running back Cam Skattebo has 49 on the season. Cam Skattebo has a fun name, has also had a very impressive season. Is it Ashton Jeanty's season? No. But hey, he's beating him in something, and that's impressive regardless. And that's the college football recap for this week. I guess we can get right into the NFL Weekly Update. Starting off with the game that we watched last night. Bills 23, Jets 20. This game was awful. This game, terrible to watch for a lot of reasons. And mainly because it was the ref show. The refs wanted to be the star of Monday Night Football. 22 penalties in total, 11 on each side. So at least they made it even. But some bad roughing the passer penalties on both teams. But the one on A.J. Epinesa sacking Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers in the presser even said that's a terrible call. I'm sure he's going to get fined quite a bit because he had some choice words for the refs. But no, it was an embarrassing performance from the NFL. Across all boards, everyone was just like, how is this the product that they let happen? I don't know. Just bad game to watch. Talk about the Bills a little bit here. Ray Davis looked great. No James Cook in this one. Ray Davis, 20 carries for 97 yards. Also had 55 yards receiving, which led the team in receiving. So good for Ray Davis. He had a game. He had a good one. And yeah, these two teams are the ones that traded for these receivers. But Amari Cooper goes to the Bills. And I think I'm going to plan on talking more about this in Friday's episode. But the Bills desperately need a proven pass catcher right now. Khalil Shakir a little bit banged up. It seems like he was just a decoy for most of the night because when he's healthy, he is a very good player. Kincaid's been fine, but like Amari Cooper is a proven talent number one guy. I'm sure he's thrilled to be leaving Cleveland right now. But yeah, like the Bills' offense, you just kind of sum it up to this. Like Mac Hollins, I love Mac Hollins, especially when he was on Miami. Seems like a cool dude, bit of a weird dude, but that kind of goes hand in hand. He's a great player in the sense of like maybe as your wide receiver 4 or 5, give you a jump ball, great on special teams. Having Mac Hollins be actually like a part of your offense as a whole, like being one of your top options, not great. So Amari Cooper is going to come in, seemingly take his role. Mac Hollins will take a step out of the offense probably because realistically he should be the number 5 guy getting targets on this team. Is it even number 5 guy? Cooper, Shakir, Kincaid. Number 6 guy, honestly. Cooper, Shakir, Kincaid, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, then Mac Hollins, I would say. Not even including running backs, because obviously James Cook or whoever the starter is, whatever. Bills get better. Talk about more of that later when we get more trade details here. Jets on the other side. At least the offense didn't suck. It looked pretty good anyways. Breece Hall had 169 total yards. Garrett Wilson, 8 catches, 107 yards, and 1 TD. Alan Lazard, 6 catches, 114 yards, 1 TD. His 1 TD, Hail Mary pass, classic Aaron Rodgers, just... I don't know how he just hits way too many Hail Marys. It's kind of ridiculous. Sean McDermott decided to defend the sidelines with Greg Russo and AJ Epinesa and only rushing 2. Gave Rodgers a little bit more time to get set, but regardless. Jets offense looked pretty good. They had a chance to go up late or at least tie the game late. And Aaron Rodgers underthrows Mike Williams, but Mike Williams slips, cannot make his way back to the ball. Taron Johnson with an absolutely great interception on the play. And Aaron Rodgers immediately goes up to Joe Douglas, Woody Johnson at the end, and be like, I'm done with Mike Williams. Get me Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams gets traded to the Jets this morning. And about 20 minutes later, as the news breaks, Devontae Adams is already in the Jets facility. Another exciting trade. Do I think it really matters for the Jets? No. And I'll formulate my thoughts more for Friday's episode when I do talk about it. But I think the offense is still going to have its issues. I think that the defense definitely has its issues right now because the Bills ran all over you. It was very, very easy for them to do, and they are extremely banged up and hurt, and regardless. But this game sucked. This was not a fun game. Multiple field goals missed, and usually over 3.5 field goals for primetime games as a winner, but I think Tyler Bass missed 1. He also missed an extra point. Greg Zuerlein missed 2 field goals. It should have hit, but it didn't, and I was disappointed. More on those trades Friday's episode. So a little bit of a stay tuned for that sneak peek into Friday's show. But let's go all the way back to Thursday Night Football now. Niners 36, Seahawks 24. I'm going to start off giving credit to myself here. I was pretty damn close with my blind recap, and I have not been these last few weeks. I knew it was going to be high scoring, but I was one DK Metcalf touchdown away from being like, that's the I got it. I got the whole thing. Obviously, score is hard to predict, but I knew it was going to be a higher scoring game. Was it maybe not as close as I thought it was going to be? Yeah, but it could have been a lot closer. We'll start with the Niners anyways. This is the game they needed. This was a big get-right game. Yes, did they almost make it way too close in the end? Totally, but they didn't lose. So, step in the right direction for the Niners, now leading that division. Brock Purdy, another good game, 18 of 28, 255 yards and 3 TDs. And one of those TDs going to Deebo Samuel, and that makes him the first player in NFL history with 20 receiving touchdowns and 20 rushing touchdowns. It's just kind of funny that he had the 20 rushing touchdowns first instead of the 20 receiving ones, but shout out to Deebo Samuel. That is a very cool stat to have. Jordan Mason goes down with an AC joint injury, and Isaac Arundo goes down for no reason. He had a chance to ice the game late. He had a long run. I think it was like 76 yards, and kind of just decides to slide at the 3. Kyle Juszczyk then poaches his TD. Very funny. Guerrero, though, one of my guys. I really liked him in the draft. He is big. He is explosive. He is fast. Now he gets the chance to potentially lead this Niners rushing attack in the next few games anyways, at least till CMC comes back. Because we got a CMC update, and he is supposed to be back, I think, week 9. Week 9 was maybe the date, early November maybe, but we have an update on CMC, so that's good anyways. Seahawks on the other side. Metcalf, big game, just killed by very, very little things. In the first half, it was his toe, just like Isaiah Likely. He was out by like an inch. That would have been a touchdown. Geno underthrew. It was like a 49-yard ball that if he hits Metcalf in stride or puts a little more air on it, that was probably a touchdown. He gets a 59-yard touchdown taken off the board because of a stupid illegal motion penalty from Kenneth Walker, who just kept moving instead of staying still. Yeah, just a bunch of little things killed the Seahawks in this one, and I give them a little bit of credit. New coaching staffs, new things, and a lot of new faces in. They have a lot of injuries right now too, mainly on the defensive side. But yeah, they played well despite it looking like they were kind of out of this one for most of it. It did get close, and then the Niners kind of put it away late. Yeah, I guess my only other note on this is I'm in on Geno in the sense of I think Geno Smith is a good NFL quarterback. But, Geno Smith isn't, when people put Geno Smith in the top 10, it's what are you doing? Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Tua, Brock Purdy, Dak. One big melting pot of QBs who are, they're good. I like them all, but at the end of the day, I don't know how much faith you really have in those guys. Yeah, because he's good, but he's still Geno Smith at the end of the day. I think it's as simple as that. Yeah, keep moving on to the Sunday games. Another London game here. Jags 16, Bears 35. The Bears look great. The Bears' offense especially looked great, and rookie Caleb Williams has arrived, potentially. He's looked, his last few games he's been absolutely incredible, but continues to look awesome in this one. 23 of 29, 226 yards, 4 TDs, 1 interception, and it should have been 5 TDs if he doesn't underthrow DJ Moore there, and that was his interception. I don't know, Caleb Williams has just looked awesome. His pocket presence has been incredible, and the escapability and the movement, and you can still see how he can keep getting better. This is kind of, again, floor right now, and he's playing very, very good football. You can see why people talk about Caleb Williams as one of the next potential great quarterbacks in this league. He does so many cool things in these modern offenses, and his movement and his escapability in the pocket. Those have been the two things that I've been very, very impressed. Where he looks like he's still at USC. The game does not look too fast for him right now. he's just a lot of fun to watch. Shout out to Cole Kmet too. 2 TDs in this one, and then ended up being the long snapper. I don't know who their long snapper is. They get hurt. Cole Kmet goes in, and I don't think he fucked up a snap once. So shout out to Cole Kmet for scoring 2 touchdowns and then immediately having to snap the extra points. That's fun. And yeah, Keenan Allen, another 2 TDs. He's showing up. The defense played pretty well, all things considered. Jags on the other side, staying in London again. I thought it would have been funny if they would have fired Doug Peterson here, sent him back home early, but they did not. But instead, Doug Peterson says after the game that they need a culture change in Jacksonville. Well, Doug, I think that you will be that culture change after the Patriots come and play you guys this coming Sunday. It's not pretty. There's just so much dysfunction and players quitting. Andre Sisco even said it after the game too. This team has a lot of quit in them. They have, the players don't believe in what they're doing whatsoever. It's just, it's very weird. It's very weird what's happening. Dearness Johnson after Tank Bigsby's huge game. Now Travis Etienne gets hurt, and then all of a sudden it's no, we're giving Dearness Johnson a million touches, and he had a good game, but Tank Bigsby has been very good when he's gotten his snaps. It's just confusing, and there's a lot of blame to go around on both sides of the ball. The defense, outside of Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen, everyone looks terrible in that front seven. Maybe not everyone, but Eric Armstead, they gave you a ton of money to come over, and I've seen a lot of Jags fans on Twitter absolutely kill him for lack of effort, just getting knocked to the ground, looking like shit. It's not good. It's not good, and Trent Baalke, the GM, decided to ship away one of their interior defensive line players to Seattle. Roy Robertson Harris got traded there. And probably one of the worst trades that you can happen right now is you're in London working, you got to fly to Seattle. I think that's probably close to a 12-hour flight, while all of his shit, all of his home, all of his stuff is in Jacksonville. So he's got to fly from London to Seattle and then somehow get all of his stuff from Jacksonville up to Seattle. Going to be a tough couple of weeks for Roy Robertson Harris, just moving wise. Yeah, that's tough, but he's gone now. And yeah, this game, again, on paper, you see 35-16. It's the Bears killed them. And the Bears did kill them. Let's just be fair here. But Trevor Lawrence also had 4 touchdown passes dropped on the day. I think, 3 from Gabe Davis, 1 from Brian Thomas Jr. Three of them did come on the same drive. So it's not like they left 28 points off the board, basically. But they did leave 14 points off the board. And that makes the score 30-35. They might have kicked a field goal, so maybe not. But either way, I digress. So as much as Trevor Lawrence sucks and he's not playing well, he's dealt with a lot of shit just in general. 4 drop TD passes in this one, and since he's been in the league, he's had 113 passes dropped, most in the league, only behind. Did I not add that in? Either way, I think it's 21 attempts ahead, or drop passes ahead of the second place team, which is the Chiefs. Yeah. The Jag is just, they got to fire. Doug Peterson needs to be gone. Press Taylor needs to be gone. Trent Baalke needs to be gone. He's an idiot. Because with that Roy Robertson Harris deal, too, it's a fun name to say. But with that deal is he had 1 year left on his deal, and then they gave him a big extension, and now they already traded him away, and the dead cap and stuff. It's a bad move. It's a bad move from Trent Baalke, but Trent Baalke's a bad GM. Yeah, wild to say that Doug Peterson and Nick Foles won a Super Bowl together, beating Bill and Tom Brady, but that was a long time ago, and Doug Peterson is just flat out not an NFL coach. I think he has a statue outside of Philly, so just go enjoy retirement, Doug. Enjoy your week in London here, and then that'll be it. That'll be it. Regardless if you guys win, I think that will be it. Keep going here. Bucks 51, Saints 27. This was one of the wildest games of the week. Game started out 17-0 for the Bucks. Then the Saints go on a 27-7 run, making it 27-24, and then the Bucks just end up going on a 27-0 run, ending up 51-27. Wild game. Start with the Bucks here. Baker, 4 TDs, 3 INTs, not his best game, but still played good enough. Chris Godwin, big game. I think he had like 117 yards, something like that, 2 TDs. But no, this was the Bucky Irving breakout game. 14 carries, 81 yards, 1 TD. No Rashad White to get in his way. Unfortunately for Bucky Irving, he got Bucky Irvinged by Sean Tucker, who was absolutely incredible. 14 carries, 136 yards, 1 TD, and then 56 yards receiving in 1 TD. And Sean Tucker was pleased with his performance. If you don't get that, Sean Tucker went to Syracuse, and after he'd have some big games, and like he'd go and he'd tweet out, it would be very like monotone typed out tweets where it's just like he'd talk about his stat lines, this is what he did, and he's like, I'm pleased with my performance today. And he got to do it in this one. So obviously no Rashad White in this one, but at least the Bucks look like they have a pretty good backfield regardless of who's running the ball other than Rashad White. But Bucky Irving looks good. Sean Tucker looks good. The offense looks good. Like the offensive line, like Tristan Wirfs is incredible. Graham Barden just keeps getting better. This Bucks team is very fun. I think we can leave it at that. Saints on the other side. Spencer Rattler, pretty good debut, all things considered. 22 of 40, 243 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Then Todd Bowles realized that, hey, maybe I should blitz the rookie QB and get him flustered. And second half wasn't the greatest for Rattler, but he showed a lot of potential. And I think that he might be able to push for Derek Carr's job. I don't know who the Saints play this coming week. That's for Friday's episode. But, it'll be tough, though, regardless of who they play. Because right now, they are missing 6 starters on offense from week 1. If I'm trying to go off the top of my head here, Chris Olave left this one with a concussion. Rashid Shaheed has a knee injury right now. Lucas Patrick, their guard, is out. Eric McCoy, the center, is out. Cesar Ruiz, the other guard, is out. Derek Carr is out, obviously. And then Alvin Kamara's been banged up. Taysom Hill's been banged up. It's been tough. It has been tough sledding for the Saints. Also, guys on defense. That's just the offense, but either way. The Saints, started 2-0. They've lost now 4 straight. It's kind of what I expected. They still look like a pretty good team and like a team in the NFC South, but they are very clearly the 3rd team in their division right now. Last thing about the Saints here is shout out to Bub Means. 5 catches, 45 yards, and a TD. I just wanted to say Bub Means. That's a great name. Bub Means. Hell yeah. Next game up here. Cardinals 13, Packers 34. The Packers offense is just fun. It's hard to stop because they don't really have a true focal point. It's just a different guy stepping up week after week. Obviously, we've seen the weeks where it's been Jaden Reed. Tucker Kraft had a big game last week too. They still got Josh Jacobs, who's been pretty effective running the ball. This week, Romeo Doubs got it done. Christian Watson had a touchdown. Maybe sometimes Dontavian Wicks gets involved. All of this to say, they have a lot of people that are just hard to stop in general. And Jordan Love continues to look very good. Another 4 TD effort in this one. I'm going to sneeze. This is not good. But, yeah, Packers are fun. And they have a big week this week against the Texans to prove to some people why they should be one of the higher rated teams in this league. The defense on the other side is night and day, anyways, in terms of turnovers from last year. I forgot who their defensive coordinator was last year. Unfortunately, I think he's on Miami staff right now, but he absolutely stunk last year. Jeff Hapley, the new defensive coordinator. So yeah, they had 18 turnovers that they forced last year. This year they already have 17. That is great, and especially when guys like Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark, two of your better defenders, haven't really played great so far. The rest of the defense is stepping up. So this Packers team could be a very scary team. Again, got to prove it to some people, but I believe that this Packers team can be very scary. They just have a very tough division to deal with. Cardinals on the other side, not really a lot to say. Your defense is not very good. I'm interested to see what happens when Darius Robinson comes back, because I like him. Marvin Harrison Jr. leaves with a concussion in this one, and I don't know. Like, without Marv, it's essentially the same team as last year, except Kyler is the quarterback for the majority of the year. I don't have a lot of faith in the Cardinals moving forward. Yeah, their offensive line's been banged up. The run game has not looked good for the last 2 weeks. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Cardinals right now, but I don't really have much to say, so we can keep moving on here. Colts 20, Titans 17. Not a pretty game, but we will start off with the Colts here. Joe Flacco, he played good. Do I think that him being in this game was the difference of them winning or losing against the Titans? No, not really. Like, Flacco, 22 of 38, 189 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and an interception. We got to remember who Joe Flacco is at the end of the day. Yes, I think consistency-wise, he might be better than Joe Flacco or better than Anthony Richardson at this point. But Anthony Richardson just can do so much more for your team and for this offense, where I think if Anthony Richardson was playing, I think that this could have been, I don't know, I think that the Colts could have run away with it just a little bit more. Like that, it wasn't a good stat line from Flacco anyways. I think Anthony Richardson would have put up similar numbers anyways. I digress here, but there's a reason why Anthony Richardson is starting against the Dolphins this coming week. It's because he's the better quarterback. I think it's as simple as that. Not really a lot else to talk about from the Colts. Trey Sermon, not a good running back. Tyler Goodson got his carries, and he looked pretty damn good. I'm assuming he's going to be the number one running back until Jonathan Taylor gets back. Other than that, yeah. Michael Pittman, who I said on the Friday show is going to miss multiple weeks with a back injury. He was fine. Clearly, he had multiple big plays in this one to keep the Colts offense on the field. Yeah, Colts keep doing what they're doing. Titans on the other side. I think Will Levis just kind of sucks. I think it might just be as simple as that. To some people, that's probably not that shocking, but we saw the flashes from Will Levis last year, but we're all like, okay, he's not throwing to anyone. It's just Derrick Henry. The offensive line sucks, yada, yada, yada. But then this year, they get him weapons. They get him a better offensive line. They get him an offensive-minded coach and better offensive coaching in general, supposedly. And he's just regressed. He's looked terrible. And this was a Colts defense that someone was putting up career numbers against week after week. And they could do nothing. Will Levis, very, very bad. And that's not a bad thing, like, if you're the Titans. If you're not really committed to him, he was a second-round pick. Like, yeah, do I think he's probably... I don't know. I was just about to say he's better than Mason Rudolph, but I just looked at his numbers again. 16 to 27, 95 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. That's terrible. This Colts defense was not good whatsoever. And they were moving the ball. Like, they were running the ball well. Will Levis can't throw. Will Levis is not good. The Titans' defense is good. If they had anyone but Will Levis, this team would be much, much better than it is. Yeah. lucky for them, they should have a fairly high draft pick, and there's no clear number one QB in this class right now, so they might kind of get their pick of the guy that they want, because there's a lot of pretty good guys right now, I'll say that. But yeah, Will Levis is just not him. Yeah, the other thing, oh god, I forgot this thing with Will Levis too. Derrick Henry has more rushing yards on less attempts than Will Levis has passing yards this season on more attempts than Derrick Henry. I think Will Levis is averaging 5.6 yards per pass. Derrick Henry's averaging 5.9 yards per rush. That's really bad. And obviously, we know Derrick Henry is great, but like a running back should not have more rushing yards than you have passing yards, especially when you have a few more attempts. Embarrassing all around. Calvin Ridley, completely useless. He had 0 yards on 8 targets. They were just kind of not getting him involved. But again, I don't know. A lot is wrong with what is happening with this Titans team right now. And it's mainly just completely on the offense. And I think it is as simple as that, and we can move on. Next game up here, Browns 16, Eagles 20. Embarrassing game from both sides, really. The Eagles win this one, but should the Browns have even been around to, like, potentially win the game late? Definitely not, but the Eagles let them hang around. I'll give the Browns a little bit of credit here. Like, their defense is still good, and they played very well against the Eagles' offense that got their playmakers back. A.J. Brown had a good game. Devontae Smith had a touchdown and a crazy catch. They shut down Saquon Barkley. Yeah, like the Browns' defense, again, the Browns' defense always does its job, but I don't know. The Eagles, it's an unserious team. Nick Sirianni was yelling at his own fans. Apparently that was in a lighthearted thing because that fan was telling him to give Saquon the ball, and Nick Sirianni was yelling at him, and it's like, yeah, we got him the ball. I mean, Saquon wasn't effective in this one, so that fan was wrong, but regardless, CJ Gardner-Johnson took away Quinyon Mitchell's first interception, like, totally useless for him to come in there and try to just steal the stat from him. Darius Slay goes back on Micah Parsons' podcast again to kind of talk shit about his own team. It's embarrassing, and it's embarrassing for a lot of reasons, but Sirianni needs to go. I think it's as simple as that. It's just bad vibes, and the fact that the Browns almost had a chance to win this one is insane. And we'll talk about the Browns here because there is a lot to talk about in a way where I put out a list last week of 70 quarterbacks that I would want over Deshaun Watson. I think that number has grown since then, but I don't know. There's only so much shitting I can do on Deshaun Watson every single week. Like, there are so many stats out there that prove that just him individually is having one of the worst seasons through 6 weeks of anyone in NFL history. Again, he's got stats worse than Jamarcus Russell right now in some aspects. Like, that's how bad it's been. But we'll talk about the Browns as a whole, because as much as I like shitting on Deshaun Watson, he's making it far too easy at this point. The Browns are the only team in the last 10 years to not score 20 points through 6 games. Absolutely embarrassing. And a defensive back, Rodney McLeod, leads the team in touchdowns right now with 2. This team stinks. And they traded away Amari Cooper. Thank God he got out of there, but it's only going to get worse. Jerry Jeudy, not that great, not that good. Njoku, whatever, the offensive line has not played well, but the Cooper trade makes it seem like, okay, the Browns, they're done. They're giving up. Kevin Stefanski still says Deshaun Watson gives them the best chance to win. He is a liar. Jimmy Haslam, the owner, is the one kind of pulling at those strings to be like, we have too much money sunken into Deshaun already. We can't do this. And I don't know. The goal is to win football games at the end of the day. Deshaun Watson is not helping your team win football games, and there are 21 other guys on the field playing who are all putting their bodies on the line, are all playing their asses off, and you're putting a guy out there every week who you know is probably not your best option at quarterback. It's tough for everyone else in that room to believe in what's going on if that one person is still playing. I think it's as simple as that. I don't care how much money you have sunken into him. He's done. He's dead. He's cooked. Like, give up on him. I'm still waiting for the Watson, the mysterious injury to pop up and have that be that. But, like, they need to flat out bench him. They've been saved in the last couple years just because he has gotten injured. He's gone. I don't know. Yeah. More, because, again, I'm going to talk about the trades more from the Raiders and the Browns side come Friday's show, but some early thoughts there anyways. You can keep moving on. Texans 41, Patriots 20. Texans took care of business. Simple as that. The rush attack finally gets going again. Joe Mixon in his first action since week 2. 13 carries, 102 yards, and a TD. Dameon Pierce also getting back into the mix. He's healthy again. 8 carries, 76 yards, and 1 TD. They did great. The Texans were in control of this one the entire time. Their defense killed Drake May for the most part, but Drake May didn't die. Look at that. He's still okay. Yeah, this game was never close. Like, not even close to being close. Yeah, shout out to Will Anderson. 3 sacks on the day. Maybe a sneaky dark horse or Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Maybe. I doubt it, but he had a very, very good game for easy to see reasons in this one. Yeah, Patriots. There's a reason why Drake May should have been playing this entire time, because he at least can move around and extend plays where Jacoby just flat out cannot. He also became the first QB since at least 1950 to throw for 3 TDs and lead his team in rushing yards. That's kind of insane. He completed only the 3rd TD of 35-plus air yards since Tom Brady left, and he did it in his first start. That's sad. Yeah, Drake May played great. Like, obviously, there's things that you want to fix, and maybe his footwork and his throwing motion, like little things you want to refine with him, but you see the bare bones of Drake May, and you can work with that. He looks like he's going to be a good NFL quarterback anyways, and that sucks. I wish that he would be a bust, but I try to be objective, and I do like Drake May as a prospect a lot. Sucks he had to go to the Pats, but I think that the Patriots got a good one. His arm looked good. Yeah, he got killed behind that offensive line, but things will get better in general. Like, the offensive line won't get better, especially not this year, but lucky for him, you won't have to play the Texans again this week. You're flying over to London, and yeah, you are playing Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, but you should be able to still look pretty good against the Jags. Yeah, no, Drake May, I watched, that was kind of one of the games. I had Red Zone on the TV, and I had the Pats Texans on my laptop here, and I was basically only watching when the Patriots were on offense, because I knew that the Texans were just going to go down and score or whatever, but Pats on offense, like, Drake May looked pretty good. I think it's as simple as that. We'll see what he keeps doing here, but first start, very positive reviews for Drake May. Keep going here. Commanders 23, Ravens 30. Lamar might be going for his 3rd MVP back-to-back. Was 20 of 26 in this one, 323 yards, passing touchdown, interception, and then added 40 yards rushing on the ground. I don't know how the Ravens lost to the Raiders in week 2, but this team looks awesome. Like, their offense is completely clicking. Zay Flowers, 9 catches for 132 yards. Rashad Bateman had 71 yards. Mark Andrews, welcome to the 2024 season. 3 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. And Derrick Henry, it's the best rushing attack in football right now. 24 carries, 132 yards, 2 TDs. They are very, very hard to stop. And the defense continues to look pretty good. And I think the defense can still shape up a little bit more. But the Ravens look great. I think a big part of why kind of the offense took a little bit of a change is rookie Roger Rosengarten took over from Patrick McCarry at right tackle, I believe, and he's looked very good so far. Ravens might have found their future right tackle, but yeah, the rushing attack is it's almost impossible to stop with Lamar and Derrick Henry. One of them will go off against you. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But yeah, shout out to the Commanders. They stayed in this one for the most part. They never were really other than early, because I think that the Ravens had a turnover and then something else happened, but Ravens defense played well. And Jaden Daniels in a down game for him, 24 of 35, 269 yards and 2 TDs. Commanders found their guy. He looks great. And again, not really a lot to go around him. Terry McLaurin looks good. The run game looks okay. And the defense is terrible. The defense is fucking ass. They had no one in the middle of the field who could cover Zay Flowers. Bobby Wagner looks like he's running in cement for most of the time. Frankie Louvu can't cover. But, yeah. Commanders have a lot of things to work on, but QB is not one of them. They have found their quarterback. Just see what the rest of the team is. It's going to look like next game up. Chargers 23, Broncos 16. This game was not good. I mean, simple as that. The Chargers got up to an early 20-0 lead, and then they almost blew it late. I think the one thing that you can talk about is Jim Harbaugh had a heart episode on the sideline. He's thankfully okay. Continued to coach in this one because, of course, he did. That's kind of the news for the Chargers in this one. The Chargers are just so whatever. Their defense is very okay. The offense is very okay. They're winning games, sure, but they're not good. This is just it's very bland, average football team right now. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. And yeah, Broncos on the other side. Bo Nix is Bo Nix. I think he had 22 yards. He was 4 of 14 for 22 yards in the first half. Obviously, a bit better in the second half, but and I get he has no one he's really passing to right now. It's Cortland Sutton and then a bunch of no ones, essentially. So, I give him a bit of a pass for that, but he's not good. He's not good. Who are we kidding here? At best, he's a game manager, but you picked him 12th overall. Spencer Rattler. I would say that Spencer Rattler has looked better in his one start than Bo Nix has this season. And Pat Surtain leaves the game with a concussion. Also, lots of concussions this week. But yeah, he unfortunately leaves the game. The defense still played well. They kind of got kicked in the mouth a little bit in that first half, then played strong, only allowed 3 more points the rest of the game. Yeah, and Pat Surtain is a big loss. He is the best corner in the league, but we'll see if the Broncos can rebound just a little bit, I guess. Steelers 32, Raiders 13. Big offensive output for the Steelers in this one. Najee Harris, best game so far, maybe of his career. 14 carries, 106 yards, 1 TD. He was running hard. The defense played like they usually do. TJ Watt, 2 forced fumbles. I'm pretty sure that Justin Fields had 2 TDs in this one too. Am I right about that? He did. And let's just look at Justin Fields' season stats so far right now. He's completing 66% of his passes. He has 5 passing TDs, 1 interception, adds another 5 rushing TDs on the game, and or on the season, I should say. And apparently, Russell Wilson will be taking first team snaps this week, looking like he's going to get benched. Now, we'll see if he gets benched here. I don't know if he's just taking snaps and then whatever they'll. I don't know, but I'll have more to say on this in Friday's show too, because again, I don't really know what's happening other than Russ is taking the snaps. It hasn't been confirmed if he's going to be the starter, but that is extremely embarrassing for the Steelers if a QB who is 4-2 for you on the season, not turning the ball over, like rushing the ball effectively. Like, yeah, maybe the passing attack is a little weak, but like Russell Wilson maybe gives you a shred bit better in the passing attack and loses all the rushing attack, all the mobility. Again, more on Friday's episode once more comes out with that, because I will have some choice words about the Steelers in that one. Raiders on the other side. This team sucks. This team is bad. I'd like the Antonio Pierce hire at the end of last year. I think who he hired around him and who the GM is, not good hires. And they trade Devontae Adams. They actually ended up getting a decent pick back. But the Raiders are just kind of who they were last year. It's like Max Crosby is fantastic, and now instead of Devontae Adams is also fantastic, it's Brock Bowers is fantastic. And they have some injuries and whatever, but like no real building blocks on this team other than Max Crosby and Brock Bowers, I guess. Yeah, not good whatsoever for the Raiders. And we can keep going. Yeah, Falcons 38, Panthers 20. The Falcons are fun. The Falcons are a very fun team on offense anyways. Bijan and Algier combined for 200 yards total. They both had very, very excellent games. Drake London, another good one. I think it was like 6 catches, 76 yards, and a TD. Kirk played well again. The defense is 2 interceptions in this one. I don't know. The Falcons are just fun. I think it's as simple as that. I have them as one of my top 10 teams in the league right now. A lot can change, obviously, but I don't know. It's nice to have fun teams to watch in the NFC South again. It's been a while. I think the one other thing I can talk about the Falcons anyways is Clark Phillips had a chance to have a pick six, and like a meaningless pick six. The game wasn't close. He just would have put another 7 on the scoreboard and decided to take a knee for, again, no reason. Like, you were up by, like, I think this was a late one. Like, I think they were up 18. Score. I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, up those stats. Get a pick six. Pick sixes are very hard to come by in the NFL. It's like, score that. Like, don't be, oh, I'm a team player. You look like an idiot if you slide when you're up that much. Rub it in. I don't know. Panthers on the other side. Their defense is terrible. I think I said it on a Friday show, but when J.C. Horn is maybe your best player on defense, that's very, very bad. And they are missing a lot of guys right now too, but they get their ass kicked almost every single week, and it's getting to a point where Andy Dalton's playing well, but is he playing well enough to not give Bryce Young another chance? I don't know. And obviously, Bryce Young has looked absolutely terrible his entire career so far. Very hard to find bright spots. Maybe he's got his mind right over the last month, essentially, where he'll come out fresh, rejuvenated, looking pretty good. Panthers can run the ball well. They might be getting Jonathan Brooks back this week. That would be big, but not good. Not good. Not good football. We'll leave it at that. Keep going here. I don't know why my notes keep scrolling up to the top. Lions 47, Cowboys 9. The Lions absolutely embarrassed the Cowboys at home in Jerry World on Jerry's 82nd birthday. And yeah, Dan Campbell went full madman, and in part so did Ben Johnson. They tried throwing a touchdown to Taylor Decker. They ran a hook and ladder play with Panay Sewell. They had Dan Skipper, their big swing tackle, running routes at receiver. And they had a flea flicker TD to Sam Laporta. They were just having fun. They were rubbing salt in the wound. They chose to embarrass this team. Hendon Hooker even got in late. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love to see it. It's hilarious that they did that to Jerry on his birthday and tried to get so many different offensive line a touchdown. The Lions are very good. The Lions offense is very good. Ben Johnson is such a creative play caller. Dan Campbell is, I don't know, he's such a, like, the culture in Detroit has shifted so much and he has done such a good job. He doesn't get enough credit for that, I think, in my opinion. However, for the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson, broken tibia, out for the year, was a very, very bad break. They did not show it on TV, but if you're like me, you immediately went on Twitter, found the millions of people showing it. It was bad. His shin was on like a 90-degree angle. It's not supposed to bend that way. And it sucked. He was having a great year. I think he had a sack and a half in this one again. That would put him up to 8 sacks, I believe, on the year. Might be a little less than that, but he was the Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner. He was my Defensive Player of the Year pick, and it sucks. Yeah, and that's a huge loss for this Lions defense, who hasn't looked great. And Hutch, the leader of that defense, has been one of the bigger reasons why they've still continued to look pretty good. He is a massive loss, and I don't know how the Lions are going to overcome that on defense. The Jets gave Hassan Reddick and his team a option to seek a trade out. Maybe the Lions trade for him. I don't know. If the Browns continue to be sellers, maybe you get someone like Zadarius Smith. That's a pretty good one. But they need some edge rusher help right now because now Hutch is out for the year. Marcus Davenport's out for the year. Those were your 2 starting edges. I don't even know who plays on the edge for them anymore. Yeah, not good. Cowboys on the other side. They suck. They're not a good team. I think it's as simple as that. Jerry has mismanaged this team greatly. The defense is not built well. The offense is not built well. It is seedy, and that is it. And yeah, Dak is now the highest paid QB in the league, and we can see that he can't run the offense when there's not a lot to deal with, which that's kind of the separator of those elite quarterbacks versus guys like Dak. Was, okay, can you put the team on your back more than the team puts you on their back? And I think the Cowboys put Dak on their back more than Dak puts them on their back. It's not good. The Cowboys just suck. Mike McCarthy is gone at the end of this year, and at least, I guess, your one thing is you have CD and you have Dak locked up for the foreseeable future. We'll see with Parsons. Maybe, I mean, people are floating out there that, trade for Micah Parsons. Jerry would never trade Micah, but Micah's going to ask for the most money for a non-QB probably in league history. I think he probably wants more money than what CD got paid, which a little insane, but yeah, that's what happens when you have a senile billionaire running your team. Bad things typically happen. And yeah, finally here, Sunday Night Football, another awful primetime game. Bengals 17, Giants 7. Not a lot to talk about in this one. Joe Burrow had a 47-yard touchdown run, which was electric. That's about it. Yeah, that's kind of the recap for this game. Nothing happened. Chase Brown scored very late in this one to seal it. Right before that play, he fumbled, and the Giants should have gotten the ball back in their territory, but safety Jason Pinnock just decided to jump over the ball. Like, there is a still image of him where the ball is, like, right under his chest, and he didn't even touch it. The ball didn't even move on the video. I don't know how you do that, but regardless. Bengals get a good win that they needed, but this absolutely worries me for the rest of the season because they're getting to the easier part of their schedule right now. But I was like, okay, this is a game where the Bengals offense should kind of assert itself versus, again, this Giants defense is good and they played their asses off, but like, I thought that they'd score more than 17 and not have it come down to, a Chase Brown touchdown to end it where, again, he almost fumbled. They almost lost the game right there. Not good. But since we're talking about this Giants D, they did play very well. Dexter Lawrence, another sack in this one. He's definitely in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year right now. 7 sacks on the season from a nose tackle. Absolutely absurd. Brian Burns came alive in this one. He looked great. He had a sack in this one. And I think Azeez Ojulari, a second-round pick from a few years ago from Georgia, he had 2 sacks in this one with Kayvon Thibodeau being out. He might take his job, and I wouldn't blame the Giants whatsoever. Obviously, they invested a lot in Thibodeau with him being a top 10 pick, top 5 pick. He was drafted early. Was that the same year they drafted Evan Neal? That might have been the same year they drafted Evan Neal. That's a terrible draft. Yeah, that's a really bad draft from the Giants if that's the case. I think that they had 2 first-round picks one year. Regardless, I digress. Azeez Ojulari probably going to steal his job. He looked very good. So yeah, but the reason why the Giants aren't winning games is it is their quarterback. It's Daniel Jones, and his numbers look fine. His stats look fine, but he just cannot throw the ball 10-plus yards down the field. It's very easy for defensive coordinators to play that when you don't really have to worry about any deep shots. You just play everything in front of you. Yeah, Brian Dable is continuing to coach his ass off. Tyrone Tracy, the rookie running back, he looked very good, led them in receiving and rushing yards, a la Ray Davis, I guess. But yeah, this was back-to-back very bad primetime football games, and lucky for us, we get Saints Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, that's gonna be fucking dreadful. Yeah, that's gonna be dreadful for a lot of reasons. Al Michaels is gonna want to kill himself by the end of that one. Yeah, that does it, I guess. Was a good week of football. Was a weird week of football. Lot of teams just blowing the other ones out. And if it wasn't a blowout, it was just a bad game. But yeah, that's the week 6 recap. Friday show is going to be a good one. I feel like I didn't have really a lot to clip out from this one other than my usual stuff, but I feel like I'm setting myself up for some good pieces of content on the Friday show. Yeah, so if you've liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, tell all your friends, and until next time, peace.